Now we are going to see the power meter that is constructed by the bridge circuit, and they can have single bridge circuit and they can have double bridge circuit. So let us see that the power meter, what is it containing. So the power meter is basically constructed from a balanced bridge circuit in which one of the arm is the bolometer as shown in figure 13 here. Okay, in this figure it has been shown that one bolometer is there, that may be thermistor or that may be the Veritas. So mostly thermistor we are using, and here the microwave power is applied to this arm, will change the bolometer's resistance using the law of unbalancing in the bridge from its initial balance condition under zero incident power. So the non-zero output is recorded as what is on voltmeter, which is calibrated to read the level of the input microwave power. We have this circuit. Here we are having four arms, as we have studied Wheatstone bridge in the intermediate. That's the same structure we are having. 1 kilo ohm resistance, 1 kilo ohm resistance. This is the R resistance. This is R resistance, which is equivalent to the thermistor resistance. And here it is grounded, and here we have given the bridge amplifier. We are having the potentiometer, that is for setting the DC voltage, and here we are having some potential, that is battery we have connected, as the thermistor needs the DC voltage for the operation purpose. What we are doing here, first we are having in the meter, in the power meter, to have this to have the adjustment through this to indicate the zero reading, or so it indicates the zero reading, and then the supply is available here. Then we are applying the power. First we set zero onto the microwave meter, and then we are applying the microwave energy, and when the microwave energy is impinges over it, its the temperature changes, its resistance changes. When its resistance changes, the with this bridge balancing gets disturbed. When the balancing gets disturbed, then the current flows in the arm, in this branch, and here we are having the bridge amplifier. Whatever the current is flowing, that is amplified, and when this is amplified, it is given to the voltmeter. A sample of that current has been taken out, and it has been feedback for the balancing purpose. So here we are having this single bridge meter circuit, and here we are having double bridge circuit meter. So here the problem is what? Then when we are sending, or when we are impinging the power, then there may be two disadvantages. Number one, the change of resistance of this thermistor may be there due to the mismatch of the input power port. Whatever the input power port is there, through which we are applying there, that impedance and its impedance may not match. So there may be some imbalancing, and it may create the incorrect reading. And the second one is that thermistor is very much sensitive to the small changes in the ambient temperature. So environment temperature, if it is changing, then also there may flow some of the current, so it may give incorrect reading. So for compensating purpose of this these two disadvantages, we are adding another circuit into this. So here we are having two similar circuits, that is R ohm resistance, 1 kilo ohm resistance, 1 kilo ohm resistance, and the same circuit has been applied here. One bridge amplifier we have placed, and here we have taken the feedback, and this arm we have taken onto another bridge amplifier, and from here another circuit we have connected the same structure. Here also thermistor is there, and that it is having the same resistance and is having 1 kilo ohm resistance. So similar bridges we have connected here, and here another potentiometer has been connected to set the bolometer DC biasing and the initial setting of the meter to go to 0. So here we are having, and this terminal is onto the ground. Now we see when the DC biasing has been provided and the meter has been set to 0, then we are providing the microwave energy. When the microwave energy is provided onto this place, the temperature rises, and the temperature rises, the resistance changes. When the resistance changes, the disturbance in the balancing is created. When the disturbance in the balancing is created, the current flows through this arm, and the bridge amplifier amplifies that, and a sample of current is being taken to give its feedback, and some of and the same supply has been connected to the another bridge meter. From here also, this has not been given the microwave energy, but whatever the energy has been provided here, so due to the disturbance in the current, so it may be disturbing, and it is compensating whatever the changes are there. That if the changes are there uh, mm, for the reason of ambient temperature changes, or for the input impedance matching. So if the input impedance mismatches, then also it will compensate, and if the ambient temperature rises or decreases, then also it will compensate. So this circuit has been used for the compensation purpose. And again, if the current is flowing here, so the same current is provided here, and the voltage V1 is provided to here, and the signal is taken out, and it is given for the feedback purpose. Now see, if the temperature rises, the resistance changes, the V2 is increased, and if that mismatching also is affected, and that ambient temperature is also affecting, then whatever the changes have been created here, so the false or the changes in the voltage which have been created due to that mismatching and due to this ambient temperature changes, they will be compensated by decreasing this voltage. So if this voltage is increases, then this voltage is decreases. Overall, the correct reading is to be set onto this meter. So this double bridge meter has been used here, and this is the voltage V2 has been considered over this over this thermistor, and V1 voltage has been considered over this resistance. Now the power, average power which we are getting, that if we do not apply any energy, that time if we take, then V1 power we are having V1 square by 4R will have that energy, and if we apply the energy, then we calculate, then V2 square by 4R will have this power. So P average will be V1 square by 4R minus V2 square by 4R, and this average power can be measured, and it can be calculated by the solving this formula V1 minus V2 plus into V1 plus V2 divided by 4R. Here that if there is any change in the voltage due to the ambient temperature, or due to the mismatching of the input impedance, then if we assume that changes are del V, then we can add the del V. So V1 plus del V and V2 plus del V, then we can calculate, and here corresponding change will be in the power meter. Then if we solve it, then we get V1 plus del V square divided by 4R minus V2 plus del V square by 4R. So this equation can be solved, and here we are having that P average plus del P is equal to V1 minus V2 into V1 plus V2 plus 2 del V divided by 4R. So if there be any changes due to the ambient temperature changes, or due to this impedance mismatching at the input port, they will be compensated by del V. So the meter will be using this formula for calculation the average power. Suppose we say that del V is very less, and that is very less, then it can be neglected, and then the power will be same as P average is equal to P1 minus V2 into V1 plus V2 divided by 4R. So this is the power meter, that is of Delitzsch power meter. So radiated is very much important from the view of the examination purpose. Next one is thermocouple sensor meter. Thermocouple sensor meter, we have what we are having in a circuit. We are having thermocouple, and that thermocouple has been manufactured with the help of N-type silicon substrate, and it is having the thin film tantalum nitride resistive load, and this the lead which is having the resistance, it has been shown the resistance, this end will be called as hot, and the end which is having no resistance, that will be known as cold or terminal. So hot terminal and cold terminal. So this resistance has been shown, which is having this N-type silicon diode. This is having the N-type tantalum nitride resistive load. So one diode has been calculated, that thermocouple has been used here, and another thermocouple has been used here. So two thermocouples have been used, and they have been used in the parallel circuit. And here we see if this coupling capacitor is there, and here we have taken the bypass capacitors. So if you apply the energy, that is microwave energy, onto this, so the thermocouple will absorb some heat, will absorb this power, and it will convert it into heat. So the energy, it may flow from hot terminal to cold terminal, and it may flow like this. And here also, whatever the EMF is produced here, the same EMF is going to be produced here, and that then current will be flowing, and the current which is flowing through this wire and through this capacitor, across this capacitor, whatever the voltages are available, those voltages will be terminated to the voltmeter, and that voltmeter is calibrated to read the power. So here we are having another thermistor. Likewise, we can calculate the peak power and the average power by this thermocouple sensor. And next one is high power measurements. How we carry out that high power measurements? They can be carried out with the calorimeter methods. So the high power measurements can be conveniently done by the calorimeters method, and which involves the conversion of the microwave energy into the heat, absorbing this heat in the fluid, usually water is taken, and then measuring the temperature rise of the fluid. As shown in this figure, we have this figure where we are having a microwave calorimeter which is having the pump, and this is having flow of water, and here we are having flow meter, and we are having the water out, and here we are having two that is temperature sensing devices. So we can have here again there are two methods of measuring this power. That is one is direct measurement, and another is indirect heating method. In the direct heating method, the rate of production of heat can be measured by observing the rise in temperature, and in the indirect heating method, the energy is transferred to another medium before measurement. In both the methods, static calorimeter and circulating calorimeters are used. So if we see that static calorimeters, how they are made up of, that static calorimeters consist of a 50 ohm coaxial cable, and which is filled by a dielectric load with a high hysteresis loss. The load has sufficient thermo isolation from its surrounding, and the microwave power is dissipated in the that microwave power is dissipated in the load, that is dielectric load. So the dielectric load and that dissipated power can be calculated by having this formula: P is equal to 4.187 mCp into T divided by T. So this T is the temperature rise, this Cp is the specific heat coefficient, and this m is the mass of that thermometric media or dielectric media, and this is the constant, that is 4.187, and T is the time over which the power is to be calculated. And next is circulating calorimeters. So circulating calorimeters, they are containing, as we have shown, that is one pump is there, then one waveguide structure is there, one glass tube is connected, and this is connected a pipe, and then again flow meter we are having, and we are having a sink for the water storage. So what we do, we provide the microwave energy onto this waveguide. Here the pump is pumping the water, and water is flowing through here. When there is no energy, that time it will have no temperature variations, but when we have the energy onto this part, then the inlet temperature will be something different, and the outlet temperature will be something different. So outlet temperature may be the higher one due to the heat absorbed by the water, and this water is carried by this tube, and it is made to flow in the flow meter, and the flow meter measures the velocity of that or the speed of this fluid or the water. So here we can again calculate the average power. P average is equal to 4.187 V D C P and T watts. So here V is the rate of flow of calorimeter fluid in cubic centimeter per second, and D is specific gravity of the fluid in the gram per centimeter cubic, and T is the temperature rise in the degree Celsius, and Cp is the specific heat in calorie per gram. A disadvantage of calorimeter measurements is the thermal inertia caused by the lag between the application of the microwave power and the parameter readings. So these are the power meters. Thank you very much.